everybody. Yep, it's me. This is me just letting you know I'm about to get started here. Got a little bit of music going in the background because you know how we do. I need to create this link so that we can share with everybody on social media that we're about to go live at like 11:35 for the next 30 minutes or so while you're on your lunch break. Appreciate you once again spending time with me. If it's your first time, welcome. If it's a return visit, thank you very much for the support. You know I love it. I also love the feedback. So let me go ahead and generate this link and then we'll get started. Coming to you live from Washington, D.C. in the Fox 5 D.C. newsroom. Remember, I want you to like and subscribe below and we'll get going. Be right back. Listen, when are you out of here? All right, everybody. Here we go. Let's make sure we got this going here right. See the monitor reading, and I'm going to say that we are here together. We're doing this. I'm going to come on up to you here on the screen and say welcome once again. I know you're like, wait a minute, who was that, Nick? Who was that? That is actually the Friends of Distinction, but the song is "Grazing in the Grass" by Hugh Masekela, and it's one that I used to love when I was younger. I don't know, it was just the beat, the rhythm, and because today is such a nice day outside, it made me think of it. So we'll close out with that again at the end. You know, I'm going to go ahead and get the timer going here so that I can steal the next 30 minutes of your time. We will do that together. Bam, we are going. All right, we're doing this together. Go ahead and do this countdown. Once again, if you have not joined me before, hey, welcome. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. But if you have been here before and you're coming on back, I appreciate that as well. I encourage everyone to remember to like and subscribe below, because what I try to do is interact with those who are taking the time to listen, to reach out, to give feedback. All of that is appreciated. All of it is it's essential. Because the whole idea behind this is to remind you that we are always on at fox5dc.com, and then that everyone with whom you see presenting to you regularly or engaging with you on social media platforms, all of them are accessible through their own platform. So I want to encourage you to also know that you can follow, like, and subscribe them as well. Just making sure my audio is okay. This is me doing a what we used to say in the military, a dummy check, just to make sure everything was going the way it should, because I still work to navigate a lot of the equipment that is new to me. There used to be a little light that would light up here. It's not lighting up now. Can't figure out why. So I wasn't sure if the audio was still going through like it should. All right, enough of that. You're like, yeah, Nick, I don't need to know how the sausage is made, but I just need you to know I'm still trying to make this sausage. So there you go. I don't want to at any point give you the impression that I got this down. This is just me just easing and coasting on through. Nope, that's not it at all. It has been a good Tuesday morning. I started out by getting out there, getting to a class that I do in the morning to just get moving, and so it was good. But we're going to go ahead and get on into what we're talking about today and present you once again with the rundown, because I believe if you know where I'm headed, it gives you a little bit more to work with. You can say, okay, I want to stick around for that. I want to see what this is all about. But yesterday was a good day for us over on Fox 5's Like It or Not, which, remember, you can catch when? Monday through Friday, Nick, 7 p.m. Exactly, because we are live, unscripted, doing our thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at this rundown, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And again, you know how I like to do. If I have a colleague who makes an appearance, I will pull them right on in. So this is our rundown for today, and I'm going to share the screen with you. You know I like to pop my big head in there and just see what's going on. So Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019. Let's go ahead and talk about what's popping, which was this happened on Friday, and then Friday we couldn't have a show because we were doing everything in recognition of Good Friday and ceremonies that were taking place throughout the district. So a couple of them just happened right at noon, morning masses, and then different ceremonies that we went to cover. So we didn't have an opportunity to have a show on Friday, or else I would have shared this with you then. And Thursday, if you'll remember, that was the day that the Mueller report came down. So the Mueller report just really took up everything because, again, we're a news station, so we have to go with what is leading and really the topic of conversation for the nation and the country, or the world as a whole. So what's popping? I want to share some stuff with you from the National Cathedral Bell Toll, which they did in unison with other cathedrals around the globe in recognition of the devastating fire at Notre Dame. Who's in the studio hot seat? Like I said, that could happen, that ebb, that flows, that if they come through, I'm pulling them. If they make the mistake of walking behind me, I say, get over here. You throw them right in that seat. What's up, week? Weather. If I see Mike, if I see Tucker, if I see anybody, I'll grab them over here because it looks fantastic. I can tell you that. Yesterday I got a chance to play around in the weather center. Just blown away by the multitude of graphs, radars that Mike Thomas, Tucker, Gwen Talbert, Caitlin Roth, they all have to navigate. Gary, they're all trying to figure out the latest modules and figure out what's happening so that they really can have the most accurate forecast. So then Sue is updating. They're constantly updating throughout the show. So even if they come in having it all figured out, by the time they get 10 minutes into the show, it can change. They're running back and forth to change it and have it updated. But the best thing about that is, even if you can't catch Sue Palka, even if you can't catch Caitlin Roth, even if you can't catch Gary McGrady, you can always have them in your pocket with that Fox 5 weather app. So download that weather app, and I can tell you firsthand that it works no matter where you are. I'd like to believe, I'm going to pat myself on the back and say that I was the first one here to use it abroad. So this past March, I went to the Netherlands and went to Prague, or Czech Republic. And while in Prague, I said, wow, do I need my jacket today? Oh, I don't know, Nicholas. Why don't we pull out our iPhone, since we downloaded the Fox 5 weather app, and why don't we check to see what the weather will be? Why not? Since the app is free. That is the Fox 5 weather app, and it is accurate everywhere you are. So while in the Netherlands, I used the Fox 5 weather app, and I believe I'm the first one to do that. Now, mind you, my colleagues, they also travel, but I think that I may have been the first one to do it, so I love that. I love saying that. Fox 5's Like It or Not in review. Climate change, ironically, that was a topic of discussion that really had the panel feeling some kind of way about all that. So it was just, hey, this is what we do. We talk about it. This is the rundown. You see what's going on. We're going to go ahead and go through some of that stuff. But The team yesterday, while we were talking about climate change, we were just talking about how the topic on Fox 5 Like It or Not was actually how many teachers across the country would like to talk about climate change, but just don't feel as though they have a breadth of knowledge or a skill set to do it in a way that falls into comfortable program curriculum that doesn't become political. Because the general consensus is that a lot of what has happened now with the topic of climate change and the environment tends to be centered on politics, and that is not necessarily where you want to take the conversation. So the idea is that if we can't figure out a way to really have the conversation, unfortunately, it won't be had, and as a result, nothing will really be done. So that's the tough part. But I want to share with you, like I said, a couple of pictures from National Cathedral. And the reason I'm going to share this with you is because I worked on the story with a guy named Joe Spivak. Joe Spivak is a photographer here at the studio, and he is absolutely amazing. Remember I told you once before how none of us do it alone? You see us on air, you hear us on podcasts, and the flashy commercials and all of that is always the on-air talent. Got it. We definitely have a role to play, but we don't do it alone. I'm telling you, you will be hard pressed to find anyone, particularly here at this studio, who will tell you that I can do it by myself. We literally work hand in hand, arm in arm, step in step with our producers, with our photog, with our engineers, with our editors. It is really a team. So some of the pictures that we took over at the venue, just want to share. This was a rare occasion. Had an opportunity to literally go to the roof of the cathedral. This just doesn't happen. So it was a rare opportunity to take a look and go where few people have gone to the top of this beautiful, beautiful building here in Washington, D.C. So this is National Cathedral, and it was fantastic. It was one of those things where they wanted us to see part of the renovations that they were doing, because you'll remember that the cathedral had structural issues after the earthquake back in 2011. So they have been raising money to secure and repair those things. The vastness, the detail that goes into it, it's important. And fortunately for them and for others who have been working to find ways to raise money, raise funds, generate awareness, fortunately and unfortunately, the fire at Notre Dame has put many of the churches that have needed the support in the spotlight. They've been able to say, hey, this is what happened in at Notre Dame. We are, of course, supporting and in mourning with our brothers and sisters who have lost this beautiful structure or will be in desperate need of repair. While you're thinking about that, we'd like to let you know what we're doing here and how we too could use your support. Taking nothing away from Notre Dame, they just wanted to press upon those who have enjoyed, those who look to enjoy, and those who may have enjoyed in the past, National Cathedral, just letting them know that, hey, we could use some support too. And take a look at this. This is like the vastness of this space, just to give you an idea. It's voluminous. The only way I can really say the roof, the sounds, it's just it's an amazing space, and it was just great to get a chance to kind of check it out firsthand. And like I said, I was up there on the roof, walking around, doing my whole thing. Like I'm like, look at me, getting a chance to go up there. It felt like almost like Harry Potter or something there, because it's just so big. But you remember me telling you how none of us do it alone. I want to introduce you to somebody here, see if I can pull up his picture, because again, when you are in the field working with a photographer, you have to have a situation where you're communicating what it is that you want to accomplish with the story, You want to recognize the work that they do as a craftsman, as an artist with their video. He takes these great pictures, these great images, but if you're not going to write to it and use it in the story, it almost dims his light. So I think that as a reporter, as a journalist, as an artist also, you have a responsibility to just recognize, acknowledge their work, and weave it into your own narrative as you are writing stories. And every photographer appreciates a reporter who writes to the video, period. So that's the takeaway. And this is the guy right here. That is Joe. Joe is a dad. He's married, good guy, and he's funny. And we just had a great time. But people never see the people behind the scenes. So he's just one of the many behind the scenes that help to keep those of us who do this every day looking like we know what we're doing. Just as and not making a fool of ourselves. So Joe Spivak is his name, and you can follow him at Camera Crazy Fox 5. So yep, just want to give him a little shout out there because you'll see a lot of his photos and videos he does post on social media. His preferred platform is Twitter. As probably most in television news, it'll be the same because it's more. If you're saying, aren't they all the same? Just to give you an idea, I think how we tend to view it, and I'll speak for myself. I think that how we tend to look at the different social media platforms, Facebook is a little more involved, a little more detailed, but specifically Twitter and say Instagram. Twitter is more of a news feed, so it's constantly moving. Rare is the occasion that someone is going to go back a couple of hours or even a day. Not going to happen to look at an old tweet. You're just not going to do it. You're looking at whoever you're following and it pops up in your feed in the moment. Instagram is more like a digital magazine. When you've got time, you're sitting there, you're sliding through Instagram, you're looking at it, you're waiting in an office, you're stopped at a light, you're on public transportation like I take all the time. Go Metro. And for the record, no, I'm not campaigning for a job in Metro, but I genuinely love, love, love Metro here. And as a complete aside, well, why, Nick? You keep saying that, you keep saying that. I have been doing this television since '99. I was still in grad school. No, that's not true. 2001. I was still in grad school at Emerson when 9/11 happened, and I remember it well. But at the time, I was working as a photog in the evenings for a station in Providence, Rhode Island. And I say that to say I've always lived in cities that public transportation was a staple. Boston has the T, does a great job. Chicago has the L, does a great job. San Francisco has MARTA and BART, does a good job. Atlanta has MARTA. And New York, as you know, the New York subway system, but nothing I have found to be as clean, as efficient, and as well designed, in my opinion, as Metro. That's why I'm just blown away. But I expect that from the nation's capital, right? So maybe I walked in with expectations, and not only did they meet, but they exceeded them. So if you're in DC, you're visiting, if you haven't had a chance to visit, if you come, hey, introduce yourself to me. I'd love to take you on a little Metro tour. There you go. How about that? So how is that for random? You come to DC, I will take you on Metro, and I will show you why I love it so much. And hopefully you too will fall in love with the nation's capital and its public transportation system. All right. So enough with that. But that's the deal. So I just love Metro, and I love how easy it is to get around here, and I love how well it works. You and I were talking about you and I in third. You see how we include this? This is going. So we were talking about the whole climate change thing and how unfortunately it has become political for some. Well, we discussed this last night on the show. We being me, Bram Weinstein, Marina Morocco, and Britt McHenry. So, you know, we went in on how this is a topic of conversation of late. Many because never everybody, many will agree that a conversation needs to be had. Where the challenge comes in is what that conversation should be. Because climate change immediately the topic of climate change can sometimes put people into a corner where they take a position and they're ready to argue and fight and not always listen. Either way, I want you to listen, and we'll talk about it on the other side. But this is from last night's Like It or Not, and I just want to know what you think. Bram Weinstein, Marina Morocco, Britt McHenry, and I chatted it up for a bit. And I'll see what you have to say when we come back.
All right, we're back on Fox 5's Like It or Not on this Earth Day, and we're talking about climate change. According to a new NPR Ipsos poll, more than 80% of parents in the U.S. support the teaching of climate change. Furthermore, a separate poll of teachers found they are even more supportive, with 86% saying climate change should be taught. But, and this is a big but, NPR has found most teachers aren't actually talking about climate change in their classrooms, and fewer than half of parents have discussed the issue with their kids. Not teaching climate change. Bram, like it or not?
I don't know why you wouldn't be teaching people about it. I hate that this is a political issue, because this is something that everybody should just be on board with. It is an existential threat to our existence on this planet, and it's not something to really argue about because it's happening. Now, you can argue about the ways that we can get to fixing the problem or attempting to fix the problem, but denying its existence is ridiculous. And the younger generation should learn about what is happening in their world and what they can do about it. So I think they should be teaching it. Now, what you teach about it and how you teach it and all that science, that's a little above my pay grade, because I'm not really sure what you should be talking about, but certainly this is something that a young generation should know is happening in their world and should be making action plans to do something about it.
But even the most basic of teachings, right, and I'm not talking about just climate change, but just being more environmentally conscious, not littering, not throwing things on the ground, should be taught to everyone. Whether or not you believe in climate change or not, you should be teaching this to a 2-year-old. Listen, when you brush your teeth, you close the faucet, you don't let the water run out, and just basic tenets of being just a better person in general should be taught at this age, whether or not you believe in climate change, because it does often and unfortunately turn political.
I think as long as you stick to actual proven scientific data and you keep any sort of political bias out of the teaching, I think that it's relevant. You know, I read an article just this week that they're going to have scientists exploring drilling in Antarctica to see what kind of water they can get up there. I mean, that is something that is scientific. It's happening. I just would caution against getting too in-depth and getting too liberal, quite honestly, in who's teaching it.
So you like it?
I like it. I don't deny it. I'm not a conservative that denies it, but I think some people push parts of it that may not be true.
There was a joke on the latest episode of Veep last night where one of the candidates said, "Don't believe in math anymore," and that was the big joke that they got to. And this is science, okay? This is scientific fact. It's enough with let's take an argument about whether it's happening or not. It is happening.
Yeah, but something could happen, and you could take the statistics, and there could be a plethora of reasons of why that happened. I'm just saying, like, use what's hard and factual.
Yes, but the denial of it.
Well, they're doing that in the Department of Energy, unfortunately.
Definitely they are. Well, coming up, whatever happened to 16-year-olds rushing out?
See what I'm talking about? So that's where we were with it. We just talked about it amongst ourselves how clearly everyone agrees that a conversation needs to be had, but what should that conversation include? That is the question. So I'm throwing it back out there to you guys. I want you to slide up in the DMs. I want you to reach out. Let me know what you think, because these are just part of the things that we do when we engage, when we have the conversation. We try to make sure that we are having conversations where there are things that people really are talking about. And we know that people are talking about this. And I think that we can agree that a conversation needs to be had. It's just what needs to be included in that conversation. Well, again, my time is up. I asked you for 30 minutes. You gave it to me. I'm going to go ahead and fade on out with the music that I like there. Remember, we were talking about this. I told you we're listening to Grazing in the Grass. That was Friends of Distinction, but I'm doing Grazing in the Grass now by Hugh Masekela. And it's just so summery. What you think? Remember, I want you to like and subscribe below. You can always find me on both Instagram and Twitter at Nick Smith News. And I want you to remember to check out Fox 5's Like It or Not, Monday through Friday, right here on Fox 5 DC. We are always on. Latest breaking news and weather. Download that weather app. It's free. It's free. And that way you get a chance to interact with Caitlin and Sue and Mike and Tucker and Gwen and Gary. I mean, they love it. They love it. I love it. I will see you all back here tomorrow. We will do this. I will try to, like I said, be on sometime between 11:30 and 12:30 and try to let you know and shoot out a tweet and a link so that you can prepare and say, okay, I got it, or I'll find it later, because we do keep it locked in. You guys have a safe day. Remember, call somebody that you love and tell them that you love them, because we can always use that. It's been a couple of weeks ago, my mother was here, my brother, my brother's wife, their daughter, and my brother's son from his first marriage. And I cannot tell you how overwhelmingly emotional it made me. It was amazing. That life has just come full circle, that I'm genuinely surrounded by love. I have so many just good people in my life who have just supported, didn't dismiss my dreams, my passion. They believed in me, and I am just ridiculously blessed to be in a position where it has not only come to fruition, but I am in a position to reach out, connect, and bless others. And I'm done. That's it. You're like, okay, Nick, don't go too far. But that's it. So we're not about to have a testimony and all that. I'm not going to scare you. But I do want you to meet me here again tomorrow. God willing, I'll be here Monday through Friday. Like I said, we're going to try to do something anytime between 11:30 and 12:30 where maybe you can catch it. Remember to like and subscribe below. And you can always find us on Fox 5 DC. And you can always stream the show. You can always stream Like It or Not. Fox5DC.com. Go right up to that top corner. Click that live button. It's right there. We'll see you on TV tonight. Thanks again, guys.